I have seen and heard a lot of talented people out there, and I would love to see all of our dreams come true. Remember what one man or woman can do, another can do. So if you're willing to work hard, be rejected, get angry, get knocked down, cry and cry some more, get back up, start over, deal with jealousy, wonder why I'm doing this, daydream, praise, and thank him. That's a capital H, thank him. And help someone without anything in return, then you might be ready to begin your journey to success. And with that being said, I'm going to bring him up in the stream. Here we go. You ready? There you are. Eric Foster, that was on your bio off of Brewer Broadcasting.
Yeah, that was from 1963 when I wrote that.
I felt a little 63-ish in there, to be honest with you.
Yeah, 63, 64.
It tasted a little 64-ish, 63-ish.
It tasted very civil righteous. I don't even know how you say it.
I was going to say, I got to be honest with you. As an Irish guy, I'll just sit that convo out. If you want to go ahead and talk, I'll go ahead and stop that. Hey, listen, it's been a weird and crazy year. Last time you were on with me, we were talking about no donuts. And I by the way, I've not had donuts now. I'm on this healthy kick, trying to get my body ready in case I get sick. Yeah. So I've been doing good, but let's bring everybody up to speed on your world. You're back from the COVID experience.
COVID vacation. And it sucks, Dave.
And it was
don't ever go.
So that's you do a radio. That's the worst answer on radio or TV. Don't ever go. So did you get it worse than your wife? And how did you get it from the station or did you give it? How did that all come down?
Got it from the station. Then gave it to my wife. But you have that lag time. So people are saying, somebody will say, I think I have it. I'm going to get a test. And you have to wait those few days. And during those few days of waiting and they quarantined and I had to cover what was going on here at work, I was still coming to work, not feeling 100%. A lot of congestion, headache, felt like somebody was in my brain trying to push my eyes out through my sockets. A lot of phlegm, and I was not feeling 100%. So that's when I probably had it. Then I decided to get a test. Then I have to wait on my test.
Yeah.
So then when my coworker stuff comes back positive, it's like, okay, well, let me go get a test. Then I wait on my test. And then right when Thanksgiving came, my wife and I tested positive. By this time, I'm coming through the dark clouds, seeing the light, still not 100%. And then my wife starts going downhill. She had it way worse than I did. Loss of smell, headache, aches. I hate to admit that it was some diarrhea mixed up. Diarrhea was mixed up in it.
You made that very pleasant. Thank you. Man.
It was not pleasant at all. It was boom. I mean, it was, oh my God.
Sneak up on you.
Oh man, it was terrible.
Uh-oh. You froze up.
Just a lot of fatigue, a lot of aches, a lot of pains. And she lost her sense of smell. So imagine, man, Thanksgiving, I can't taste anything. I mean,
that's what I was going to ask you about.
Cakes, pies, turkey, dressing. Of course, I was still shoveling in my head, but I couldn't taste anything, and that was really weird.
How long did you go without the sense of smell and taste? Was it like a full 2 weeks or just a few days of it?
No, it was like maybe 3 or 4 days, and then I started coming out. Now, not saying that I lost it totally. Some things I could taste, but it tasted weird, different.
Really?
For instance, when we got our test results back, I came in the house. She's cooking collard greens, and if you know anything about collard greens, you know that they're very loud and very pungent. She said, "You didn't smell the greens?" And I was like, "Yo, I did not smell the greens." So it was just weird stuff like that.
See, my mom and my mom's house smells starting around September, just smells like the holidays for about 4 months. And I go in there, of course, I'm wearing my mask, and a quick shout out, I do wear my mask, especially when I'm around other people. It's a responsible thing to do. That's my decision. So I wear my mask, but I go in and I can still smell stuff. And I don't stay there long because, I try to get in and out of the house 15, 20 minutes and I stay away from them. But that smell is there. And I thought about it. If I got sick and couldn't smell those pies and cakes and the vegetables and just the corn fritters, they just got that all. And then my mom lights all the candles for holidays. So it's this big smell of vanilla and apple spice and food. It smells like it's happiness.
Yeah.
And I'm glad you got yours back before the holidays kind of completely ended,
Yeah.
So how's the building now? Is everybody kind of pulling through, or you still have people out and spotty right now?
No, everybody is back, and just staying. The management is very good about air purifiers and sanitizers, and everybody's wiping stuff down and UV lights and all of that stuff. So
I'll give you a shout out to Ed Jones, and you may do it, but man, if you've not gone to Nutrition World and looked at the vitamin, the immunity stuff that he's got, the vitamin D, zinc, vitamins, he's got these things that, man, I live and die by them now. I take them every day.
Yeah, that's I did a COVID in the Black community. I was a moderator for that for the mayor. This was a couple of weeks ago, which was funny because I did that one week. The next week I catch COVID. And one of the doctors on it, Dr. Cooper, was explaining about, I asked a question about eating right, immunity. And he said, yeah, if get your diet right, make sure that a lot of people that go into the rough part of COVID are a high percent of the time deficient in vitamin D.
Yeah.
So taking your multivitamins, your fish oils, your anything that's going to build immunity, exercising, getting enough sleep,
water's big.
Hydrated.
Was that hard for you, man? Because it seems like with the stomach issues, was staying hydrated, did you feel like you were getting dehydrated? Is it hard to keep hydrated when you have it?
No, because I know I need to drink it. So even when you're not thirsty, like how your coach used to tell you, if you're waiting till you're thirsty, you're already dehydrated. Yeah. So we just we keep a ton of water in there, and just like every hour or throw back about 12 ounces just to try to stay hydrated. And then a lot of times, instead of just drinking my hydration, I'll eat it. So we'll go and get watermelons and stuff like that, and then try to eat your water.
So I'm big on, it's really weird. Watermelon's one of my favorite foods on planet Earth, but the last 2 or 3 years, it gives me acid reflux. So I have to take extra Nexium, but I love cantaloupe and I use Honeycrisp apples. Have you ever had a Honeycrisp apple? Oh, it's like biting into flavored water. I love that stuff, man.
Yep.
So
eat your water.
It's no donut or anything. It's
definitely not a donut.
It's not. Well, okay. So let's catch up a little bit, because I know you not only do you do the radio gigs, but you're also a musician and a comedian. You've seen a lot of musicians out there. I interviewed a couple of them that COVID is kind of, they didn't do a lot of gigs, hardly any this year. Got one guy interviewed out of Nashville, Marty Ray, who I think if you've never heard of Marty Ray, go look him up, man. He is so good. Anyway, he has always kind of been online. So he's got like literally 500,000 followers, and he's just been online, and that's how he's always done things. So COVID didn't affect him that much. But do you got a lot of friends that you've watched struggle and tried to make the jump to online stuff where they're doing gigs paid online?
So, hey, some of them not even just jumping to online. They went and just got regular jobs because, they needed, like a friend of mine that's up in Detroit. He's like, dude, I know a friend of mine that owns a car lot. And he says, whenever you're ready to come and sell some cars until you can get back out on the road, he's doing it as we speak. And, But then there are a couple that are tech savvy that moved to doing some online stuff. But you got to come up with some fun, some type of way.
Do you just ever pick up the guitar and play for the relaxation of it? Or has that kind of gone away for you and you'd only play if you to stay in practice for doing like gigs or something?
No, if I'm picking it up, I'm just doing it to practice and rehearse and go over songs. It's not to say that I don't enjoy it, because I do.
Yeah.
But at some point it turns into a job, and you have to go in and be the best. But it's just one of those jobs that you like doing.
Do you miss doing the music, the gigs and stuff? Have you missed the comedian, being able to go out and do the stand-ups?
Yeah. I'm a little bit different than everybody else because I have a regular 9 to 5 that will allow me to go and do some comedy stuff when I choose to.
Right.
But my friends, that's their livelihood. So to give them a call and say, man, I can't get out. No one is booking, during that time. But now that they've opened up a little bit and they started doing some things, a lot of the guys that I know, they are out on the road again, and all of them have had COVID.
Really?
The ones that I've talked to. I don't want to say that everybody has had it, but when you're putting yourself out there.
Well, I asked you before we came on, now that you've had it, would you be willing to go on the road and stuff? But, there's those rare cases I've read about where people have gotten it twice, or maybe they had the flu. I don't know how that is, but, once you hear that story once, if you've had it, I'm assuming you'd go, you know what? I don't even want that twice. I don't want to tempt fate like that. Never mind.
I don't want to go back to that vacation. That resort was horrible. And then too, I've got to worry about my kid. My son has a condition where his immune system is compromised. So
oh wow, I didn't know that. I'm sorry.
Yeah. I mean, he's had Crohn's since he was 10. He's 20 now. So I'm cool with just going to work, doing what I have to do.
Getting through this year.
Huh?
Getting through the year.
Basically.
Hey, are you going to take the vaccine? Are you a little skeptical of the vaccine? See, I'm a little skeptical. A little bit.
Yeah, it was a rush job, but these guys operate at the highest level. Now, this is when I go back to my minor in college was health. So when I graduated from school, I started working at the health department and epidemiology and all of that. So I'm a little bit different when it comes to the average guy when they start talking about when COVID came out and people not wanting to wear masks and the reasons why they didn't want to wear masks. I would look at you and go, "You're full of shit."
Would you look at him like that? Would you turn your head a little bit?
Yeah. I was like, you're full of, well, they say I don't want to hear that crap because of all of the classes that I had to take and the field that I worked in and having to go train at the CDC and having to go train at the health department in Nashville. No, there's nothing that you can say that was going to change my mind on what was going on and how dangerous the disease is.
And when Fauci came out, and this is what I've had this conversation, he came out, I think it was March early, and said, there's no need to wear a mask or don't wear them that much. And then he changed his mind. It's what I told people. It is true that's been politicized, right? It's 100. Me and you've talked about that. This has been picked up and used for both sides. But it's also true that we were into something that nobody really knew how bad it was going to get. And even if they thought they knew, we'd never really been this way before. It's possible, being the human being, somebody went, we're going to be fine. Like Fauci, he's a professional, and then comes back and goes, yeah, no, we should wear a mask. It's okay to change I would rather you change your mind if you're wrong than just hold the line when you know you're wrong.
I mean, but look though, man, that's how our country has been from the beginning. We look back 50, 60, 100 years on things that they did back then that were the norm. And now we're looking at it and go, what the hell were they? You know what I'm saying? At some point, somebody had to say, you know what? Maybe we need to take the cocaine out of the Coca-Cola. Well, why do we want to do that?
Let's bring the toilet into the house.
Let's bring the toilet. I've got an idea, Clint. I don't want to shit outside anymore.
Those bears are getting our kids. We can't keep making kids. The bears are picking them off going to the toilet.
Somebody had to say, I've been looking at this. I think we need to take the lead out of the paint.
Why?
Oh my God.
Because little Johnny's eating it like this and got some twitches.
Little Johnny's making paint fritters, lead flavored. And then, you're looking over there and you wonder why Johnny's going, nothing. They taste great.
Wait. Did you just say paint fritters? That's going to be on your Thanksgiving meal next year, man. Hey, Eric will bring the paint fritters.
You just started looking. But so when it came out, I did I was a moderator for a COVID talk that was given by the mayor, and there were a number of doctors on, and one of the things was that we were talking about. I said sometimes to the layman, it looks like the medical community is they're contradicting each other because of information. And she said that's because this disease is so new. We are continually finding new things every week, every day, every month. So, all right, they say that you should do A, B, C, and D, and then hold it. What I just in. We're not doing A, B, C anymore. We're doing X, Y, Z now because now we're fine. You know what I'm saying? So
Yeah,
there's
yeah.
this lag time. So there's just a lot of information, and you have to stay on top of it, and you have to research, and you have to look at things. And a lot of the average person doesn't want to do that. They just want to listen to one source and then.
Well, and what I want to do is, if I disagree with you, Eric, on politics, which means you probably agree on about 50% of things and disagree on about 50% of things. But here's what I'd rather do. Instead of talking with Eric, because I know you, I would rather just throw my headline at you and you throw your headline at me. And there's a lot of times, if you read those headlines, read the article, it's not, you know how media works now. A lot of times the headline is not what the article even says. It's designed to get a click so Clint can get in his little bubble and go, I'm right. And then I'll throw it. Yeah, I'll throw it at Eric, and then Eric can throw me his, and really neither one of us know what the hell we're talking about. We're just trying to be right.
Yeah.
And that's where we turn wrong, and that's where we pick a side and pick a team on this. It's a virus. Virus doesn't care if you're a Republican or a Democrat. They don't care how you vote. Doesn't give a shit. Doesn't care.
Nope.
As you know, because you're probably a Democrat or probably vote Democrat a lot. Maybe not. I've just seen some of your posts. You might vote that way a little bit.
Well, maybe. I'm conservative. I'm conservative in certain things, and I'm liberal in a lot of things.
And yet the virus did not care one way or the. And I'm more conservative and middle of the road on a lot of stuff. And if I get it, the virus isn't going to take it easy on me because I voted a certain way.
No.
It's all genetics, and the virus hits the wrong person at the wrong time. It doesn't matter.
Because the crap that we're talking about politically is subjective.
Yes.
And the virus is objective. I'm going to get both of you sick.
Absolutely. It will. And so I think that would be way better in the world we live in if we could find common ground like that and just say, hey, let's talk about the stuff we disagree with some kindness and a little bit of respect and the trust that Eric's a good guy and doesn't want bad for my family. And he trusts that I think he's a good guy. I want the best for his family. And the stuff we disagree on, that's what we can talk about. The stuff we agree on is, I don't want your grandmother to get COVID, and you don't want my grandmother to get COVID.
One of the problems is, man, we always go first and look for the differences instead of looking for the similarities.
That's a great point. Yeah, that's a good point.
All the time. Even when I was at a conference about race relations, and I brought that same thing up, and there were a couple of guys in there that you could just tell that they were going to butt heads. I said, why don't we look at the similarities before we start looking? It's obvious that I'm darker than you, you're lighter than me, but let's go a little bit deeper. Do you have kids? Do you have a wife, or did you get divorced, or what concerns you? Do you have enough money saved for your retirement? How's your insurance looking? Let's look for let's look for common ground. Did you tear your truck up on that freaking pothole on Highway 153? When are they gonna fix that shit?
That's right.
What I'm saying?
Yeah.
So we can start looking at similarities, but the powers that be, whatever you want to call them, or the people that take advantage of people that think small and worry about skin color and this, that, and the third, they're okay. As long as don't look over here at the real issues. Look at this crap. Let's look at all of the stuff that divides you.
Well, I'm glad you said that, because one of the things that I tell people is we all have certain, even if you say we don't have any of those things that Eric just brought up in common, have you had any joy or pain in your life? Yes. Then we can agree. When you have loss, when you have excitement, there are certain even emotions we can agree to. And the other side is, and again, I'll bring it up and we won't go down the rabbit hole too much. This is a pet peeve of mine. If me and you disagree on a policy, then I would assume, and goes back to assuming that you trust the person you're talking to because we know each other. That's why throwing headlines on social media doesn't change anybody's minds, because I don't know you that much.
Yeah.
But if I disagree with you on a policy, that's one thing. But if everything that we disagree with makes me a Hitler or makes me a racist or makes you unpatriotic, then what we do is we throw these labels out there, and then I think it dilutes the real racism out. There's real racism. There's real assholes in the world that want to control the world. There's people that don't like you because of the way you look. There's people that don't like me the way I look. Right. And they hide in the tall grass of us labeling each other because I don't want to think hard. I don't want to actually research and go, well, you know what? Eric may have a point on that. Since I wasn't alive in 1920, I ought to do some reading before I just act like I know. And so the real assholes just lay like this, and they just hide, and we divide ourselves. I think the higher ups, I think they want to keep us divided. They got to keep us playing Red Rover with each other, because that's how they keep the power.
Oh, of course.
That's how they keep the power.
Of course. If
Democrats and the Republicans ever really wanted to, I tell this all the time, we have term limits. We can vote people out anytime. So if you've had people in office for 40 years, it's not their fault.
No.
Vote them out.
Yeah.
Get rid of them.
Yeah.
What else? Oh, I didn't know this, and we don't have to talk about it too much, but I did not know that you, on your bio, had given did you give a kidney?
Gave a kidney to my brother.
I did not know that.
And then that puts me into, one of the things my wife was upset about once I caught COVID. She's like, well, what's going to happen? I don't know.
That brings up another good point. Next week, I've got a guy coming on. He is the president of the, I have to get the Immunity Communities of the Immunity Association of America. It's the biggest resource for the immunity community, immunity diseases.
Oh, cool.
Deficiencies. Let me get it straight. I've got his title right over here on my calendar. But the reason I'm bringing him on is what you just said. There are so many people walking around that look healthy, that have these silent illnesses or things that you would never assume. Mm-hmm. And so we got to get past the Eric looks healthy, so he can probably do better than the person that looks sickly over here. And that's not the case. There's a lot of people walking around out there that look like they're fine, and they're not fine.
That's right.
They're not fine at all.
That's right.
Let's see if anything else going on in your world. We talked about playing guitar, comedy. You're back in the radio. COVID. Tiny Lister died.
Tiny Lister died.
And I loved your response of 2020 like officially sucks. This has been a bad year for celebrities, for anybody, but celebrities especially.
It's just been a bad year all the way through, from economy and kids getting sick, people dying. I'm done with 2020, bro. But I think it's going to make us a lot stronger, though.
I do too. I think we're getting better at having to listen to each other, which I think is a good thing. I think listening to people, and I'll throw this one more political thing out there that I say to my conservative friends, and kind of some of them like it, some of them don't. One of the things that I think we can get better at is listening to stories, stats and data and statistics. We should make decisions based off data and statistics. I get that. But I think one of the things that we need to get better in the conservative community is not dismissing people's stories of what their world is like inside America. Everybody has a different experience here in the United States. Everybody grows up differently. And when we dismiss just somebody's story because it doesn't relate to us and go, but that's not how it really is. What is for them?
Yeah, that mindset, man, is a selfish mindset. And it takes the humanity out of the situation, where, I mean, God, man, if you can't feel for a guy who just lost his grandmother or his nana or his pawpaw, I don't give a damn, what political affiliation you are. I've lost a grandparent. I know exactly how that feels, even if this guy is, worth 20 mil or whatever. But,
But I think even going deeper than that, man, I think you said we're going to be stronger coming out of this. And my hope is I learned to listen to people who grew up with different experiences too. It is possible that we need to acknowledge that America is a great country, and I think we've put frameworks in place to navigate some of the evils of the heart. The evils of America didn't start in America. That evil, in the evil of slavery we didn't create that in America, and we put framework in place to hopefully navigate that. But I don't think we get there if we just dismiss it and go, yeah, but no, we gotta. I don't want to sit in all the crap we did wrong forever and just say, look how bad we are. But I also don't want to just ignore it and act like it didn't happen. I think we as a country have gotten better at listening to stories, at least I'm hoping, on a personal level, and saying, you know what, your story is valid because it's your story. And just because it's not like my story doesn't mean it's any less important, and it shouldn't be heard. It should be heard. And I think we need to get better at listening to understand their people's perspective. The other team's perspective.
It's a lack of empathy, man.
Yeah. I mean, what's going to happen if something happens to you? Now I don't have any. You're the only person I can beat in a breakdance contest. So
yeah, you smoked me on that. But when you hit me with the wave,
you know what?
Like, oh.
I'm so full of shit on this, and here's why. I'm a good golf shot. I've had one good golf shot, and I talk about that golf shot for the next 10 years. When I'm a crappy golfer, I've had one short 10-second clip where I actually did something okay. And in reality, that's my just one golf shot. If I did that again, I would get stuck. I would trip. I would have no rhythm to it at all. It was a fluke.
That's all right. But if you did it once, man, you can do it again. You got to get out and practice.
I'm going to start. Somebody posted the other day a poster of the Electric Boogaloo breaking. And, when I was in the 80s, that was the movie that everybody kind of watched, at least in my world. Did you ever see Breaking?
It is now an Olympic sport.
Huh? What was that?
Breakdancing is now an Olympic sport.
Now, see, you're a comedian, so I don't know if you're bringing – is there a punchline here? Is there a knock-knock joke?
Nope. Go Google it.
How is that okay.
They're trying to go for the younger demo.
All right, well, let's get your opinion on this real quick. Are you thumbs up on that?
Oh, I'm cool with it. I mean, that was my era, man. That was,
Look at you sitting up a little bit like you're about ready to start.
And breaking and yeah, man. Crazy legs. I remember we did a show. I was playing with this group, and we got a chance to go to New York and at the Manhattan Center. And Crazy Legs, the guy that was I think he was in either Beat Street. Yeah, he was in Beat Street. And we got a chance to do a show that he was doing. So I was in heaven.
So were you flight pants? Because I used to have flight pants. Did you flight pants it up and cardboard?
Dude, I was a break dancer and a zapper, dude. So I was hey, you name it. Anything by Adidas, Kangos. If my mom could buy it for me, I was gonna rock it.
What year did you go to? You went to Brainerd, didn't you?
Yeah.
What year did you graduate?
Came out in '88.
All right. Well, we've talked about this. You came out before. Were you with Bill Middlebrooks?
Bill is before me.
Yeah, because he came up to Carson Newman where I was at. And I'm trying to remember some other, but Bill was not a good break dancer. I can tell you that right now.
Bill came out in '86. He might not have been a good break dancer, but he'll dunk on you.
Well, we were on a 3-on-3 basketball traveling team, me, him, and 3 other dudes. We'd go to Atlanta and Nashville and Knoxville and play in these 3-on-3 tournaments.
Oh yeah, that was big.
So here's a funny story about Bill. Do you got 2 more seconds before you got to go?
Yeah.
So we had this tournament that was up in Tennessee Westland, I think it was. I can't remember. And it's not a huge tournament, like 50 teams. So we go, is me. There was 5 of us. 3-on-3 tournaments, you have 3 players. You have 2 sitting out, and you can rotate through. So we had it, and Bill was on our team. And so we just did one like 3 or 4 weeks earlier when they used to have all those tournaments at Eastgate. They used to have those 3-on-3 tournaments at Eastgate all the time. We used to play in those. So Bill said, I'll just meet y'all up there. Our first game was like 9 o'clock. We're like, great. So we get up there, and there's only 4 of us. I'm sorry, there's only 3 of us. The other 2 aren't there with this other guy and Bill. And we're like, well, we can start with us 3, but I'm 5'10". I'm a good player. I'll surprise you with some different stuff. I can hold my own. The other guy was 6'2". He's pretty good. But our 2, I just lost him. Click back in if you're watching. Let me text him. And then I'll finish the story because it's a good story. See if he clicks back in. Unless his phone died. All right, here we go. Click back in. See if we can get him back in here. Anyway, so I get up to there we go. Click in. Click back. There we go. So anyway, we get up to this tournament, and there's only 3 of us, and both of our tall guys are not there yet. One of them is Bill Middlebrooks, who went to Brainerd High School, and all of a sudden we got to start playing. So we take the court. There's only 3 of us, and we're not getting killed, but their size was for sure having their way with us. They were up by 3 or 4 points, and all of a sudden we see Bill running across the parking lot, shoes in hand. He had been up there since 6 o'clock. He got up there early and had fallen asleep in his car and did not have a way. That's before we had these things right here with cell phone with alarms on them. He had fallen asleep in his car, and he was late to the game. And we ended up winning the game because Bill Middlebrooks himself jumped in with us and made it happen. So there's the story of Bill Middlebrooks. We'll see if Eric jumps back on with me. I see he saw my invite. We'll see if he can jump back in. We'll give him a minute or two and see if he wants to get back in here with us. So the breakdancing event that I was talking about is through the studio. This was back last year through the Power 94 studio, through the plexiglass. I saw Eric on duty doing his thing, and Magic, I think it was Magic, was filming me and him, and I did a little breakdance thing, and he tried to fight back, shot it back over to me. I did something. He fell out, couldn't do it. I won the breakdancing contest. So there we go. All right. I don't know if he's going to join back. If not, if he sees this, I appreciate you coming on. But I think he's trying, and I'd hate to end it if he's going to jump back on with me. But we can end it now, and he can come back some other time. If you're watching this, Eric, man, everybody's glad you're feeling better. You're over COVID, and we're glad you're back in the studio. Stay healthy, and we'll tell more stories down the road. All right, everybody. Thank y'all. See you.